morning, afternoon, evening. Progress for today. We're adding more leaves. All right, so we are continuing on with our DIY power carved burr holder. It's going to hold all of our power carving burrs. And yes, we're at 4 times speed again. And I will just simply remind you that you can pause and rerun this whenever you need to. But we're going to keep it sped up so that this series does not take us forever and you're all past retirement age by the time it's done. And some of you are retirement age, and I envy you because I really wish I was at this point. I've got a while. And full disclosure, this project took over a week for me, filming and everything. So it's not going to be an instantaneous. If you slowed this down, you get it done in a day, anything like that. This is something that's going to take you a while. And I'm starting out by drawing the patterns again and making sure that I draw the drooping leaf sides of the leaf forms. And again, use an arrow. I have my 4 rotary tools here. Each is with a different carving burr or sanding disc on it. And we're going to start to use, obviously we're going to start here with the larger extreme sphere, very coarse burr. And we're carving just outside the lines. And then we're going to switch to our fine detail for the smaller areas. You're going to start to notice that these leaves are a little less defined in the end of our carving period today than they normally are. They're not nearly as lifted away from the wood. These are your middle ones, and you can lift every single one of them from the wood if you'd like, and make them stand out looking as raised as you feel like doing. I'm just not doing that because this is a burr holder and those leaves will get into my way as I'm trying to grab the burrs. Plus there's going to be sawdust all over this thing on a really regular basis. And I only need to make them so hard to clean. That's up to you. We've started cleaning out the inside of the leaves there with the larger sphere burr. And removing what's going over the edge. Then we're going to further define the inside of the leaves with this larger sphere, very coarse extreme burr. And I've switched over here to the sanding disc, and I spoke in the last episode about how I make these myself. I've actually, in the meantime, filmed a video and put it out on my site. So one of the videos on the channel will be creating these. It'll be helpful when you try and use these to quickly and smoothly clean out the inside of these leaves. We jump to the fine detail, again, just to separate the leaves. Not raising them as much as we have some of the others, but better to find them. Keep in mind, it's easier to pull. Sideways motion is even less easy, than say pushing would be really difficult. But sideways is a little easier than pushing, and pulling is actually the easiest way to define your lines and to carve with the fine detail. All right, so we're just jumping back and forth here from the fine detail to the large sphere burr, and then back to the sanding disc, and then the whole process begins again. As you get to be absorbed into a process like this, creation of something, maybe something hopefully that you've created in your mind, and you're trying to match the picture that you see in your mind of what it is you want to do. You don't really want to stop a lot and switch burrs. I'm using 4 here for that very purpose. Sometimes I'm so engaged and I don't want to stop. I don't want to pull off a burr, look around for what I think is a better burr, and maybe decide if something else would be better than what I had originally thought. And then, just to load it back up and then have to re-visualize the leaf from where I was. It's kind of like starting from a standstill. You just want to keep the momentum going. And the flow of the process sometimes just catches you up, and you'll be sitting here an hour before you realize it. Other times my hands are tired, and it's good to take a break, drink some water, stare at your piece a bit. I'm not sure if I mentioned it before in another episode, but when you're done for the day working on this, don't leave it in your shop. Clean off all the dust, maybe blow it off, or run it with a vacuum, run over it with a vacuum or something like that. But take it where you'll be able to see it, because you'll be able to take a look at your project as it progresses, and maybe adjust your thoughts, or you'll just roll around some ideas for next time you carve. It's always good to have that sitting around. I find this is very helpful. I'll stare at it for hours, not hours, but collectively speaking, hours, before I, finish a project. I'll just keep an eye on it and, look at this stroke and look at where I was carving here and where I need to do better on this spot and that sort of thing, just mentally making a note. But keep it where you can look at it. It's not done, and that's fine. We all know it's not done yet, but we do know that, it's going to be done sometime, and it's going to need to match your vision. And your process is your process, so just keep your eyes on it. I've carved the end grain here not too long ago, and I just want to mention that carving the end grain is completely different than carving, say, face grain or side grain. A lot of people say that you imagine a bundle of straws, solid straws. Well, that's your wood fiber. And power carving, the way we do it, is a bit of a destructive way of carving. You're not slicing clean away something. You are literally grinding away the side or the face grain of the straws themselves. But when you actually grind away at the ends of the straws, well, those can kind of split out like hairs, and they can go in different directions. And your burr, depending upon what it is, which size and shape that you're using, can be thrown in different directions, because those end grains will grab and push and pull your burr. So you just have to be careful with the end grains. You have to be careful all the time with power carving, but be especially careful with the end grains. All right, so you saw me use that sanding disc. It was acting a little weird and leaving lines. And I jumped back and forth from the detail burr to the sanding burr for a while as I'm finishing up today's leaves. 10:30. Just keep in mind we're not done yet. Every time you take a look at what it is I'm doing here, and gosh, it looks ugly. What he's doing is not complete. It has no form. We're not done. Trust the process. Keep working. We're gonna have to go back through all of this with sanders, and we'll probably use some different burrs to clean some of the lines out. We'll even take a look at the finished product and see where we could do better. Always great reviewing what you've done. You can always do better in what you do, every single thing. So nobody says their job is perfect. So just keep an eye on what you're doing and keep working through it. I've said it before, no project's really ever done. You just pick a place to stop. Looks like I'm going to use the fine flame burr here. That's really just to clean up some lines. Real time, I think I'm probably working on this. I've been working on this for about an hour. So I'm pretty close to time when it's normally when I at least stop and take a break. And in closing, you know, we made great progress here today, and I think we might finish up with a major part of the carving next episode, maybe finish all the leaves, even though we'll have a lot of work to do. But we'll take a look at the final product again. And like I said, I've got a sanding disc video, and we'll see you in the next episode where we hopefully will finish up with all of our leaves here.